this morning. You're welcome once again. My name is Shegun White, and first we're going to look at the headlines for this morning. Federal government and NLC meeting hands in dreadlock. Workers insist on demands. Police determines how to go into the probe of Mohbad's death. Uncertainty surrounds the conduct of 2023 census. And also in sports, Sao Tome and Principe withdraw from qualifier against Super Falcons, and Nigerian stars set for titanic battles as UEFA Champions League begins today. Now the news in full. The federal government and NLC meeting ended a dreadlock. Workers insist on demand in a race to beat the deadline for the planned commencement of an indefinite strike that may lead to the shutdown of businesses and economy. The federal government on Monday held a meeting with the organized labor on post-subsidy removal palliatives for workers. The parley, hosted by the Minister of Labor, Simon Lalong, in Abuja, however, failed to reach a consensus as the Nigerian Labour Congress insisted that the federal government must meet its demand ahead of the 21-day ultimatum issued on September 1st by the Congress. The union had on September 1st handed down the 21-day ultimatum to the federal government over the delay in sharing of palliatives, saying it might be compelled to declare an indefinite labour action if its demand were not met. In furtherance of its demand, the NLC mobilized workers for a 2-day warning strike on September 5 and 6, partially grounding social and economic activities in several states by banks, ministries, agencies, and departments closed to the public in some states. The NLC leadership had said the action was in preparation of a total shutdown of the economy, which would start at the expiration of the ultimatum on Friday. Among other demands, the NLC and the Trade Union Congress were asking for wage award, implementation of palliatives, tax exemptions and allowances to the public sector workers, and a review of the minimum wage, though the federal government made a commitment to restructure the framework for engagement with organized labor on palliatives. The 8-week time frame set for the conclusion of the process expired in August with no action whatsoever. Following the sudden death of the Nigerian music star Mohbad, police have come out to determine how the probe into the death of the deceased would go. The first public relations officer, Olumiwa Adejobi, has disclosed that the Nigerian police force will interrogate as many as possible to unravel the circumstances behind the death of the late Nigerian artist. Ilerioluwa Aloba, popularly known as Mohbad, reported that the 27-year-old singer was a former signee of Naira Marley at Malian Records, died last Tuesday. The first PRO shared early Tuesday morning via their handle on Twitter. It tweeted that Mohbad would open our minds to several scope of investigation to unravel the case. Also in the news today, uncertainty surrounds conduct of the 2023 consensus. About 104 days to the end of the year, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has yet to announce new dates for the conduct of the 2023 National Population and Housing Census. Nigeria has been brandishing an estimated figure for the last few years, as the last census was conducted in 2006, which gave a population figure of 140 million people. Though the result was disputed in some quarters, the country was due for another head count in 2016. The immediate past administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari had planned to conduct another census in 2022, which was later shifted to 2023. However, a school of thought had expressed doubt in the possibility of conducting a census in an electoral year, while another school of thought supported it. The exercise was suspended indefinitely by Buhari a few days before his leaving office, saying that it would allow the incoming administration to announce a new date for the head count. Already, the body language of President Tinubu has shown that census is not ranked among his top priorities. The president had an audience with the National Population Commission, but no word came out of the July meeting. However, the commission said they were carrying on with the necessary preparation and would be ready once the president pronounced a new date. The students of the OAU threatens campus shutdown over tuition fee hike. The President, Great Ife Students Union of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State, Akinremi Ojo, has said students of the institution may shut down activities on campus if the recent increase in school fees is not reversed. Ojo, who spoke with journalists on the campus of the university on Monday, said the management of the institution had remained silent since it announced the new fee regime last week Wednesday. The student union president said that during the last congress of the union, it was resolved that the management should reverse the increment in school fees and directed all financial institutions to suspend payment from OAU pending the time the union would write to them. Otherwise, their branches in Ife and OAU campus would be shut down. According to him, the Congress also agreed that the university management be given a 5-day ultimatum beginning from Friday to engage the leadership of the union on the issue. The student leader, who said the planned shutdown activities on OAU campus would be extended to other institutions across the country if the management refused to reverse the increments, rejected the claim that the hike was necessitated by the federal government's decision to stop funding universities in the country. The ministry committed to making Lagos livable, says Commissioner. The newly sworn in Lagos State Commissioner for Local Government, Chieftaincy Affairs and Rural Development, Mr. Bolaji Roberts, alongside the Special Advisor on Rural Development, Dr. Yekini Agbaje, has reiterated his readiness to work towards extending the dividends of democracy to all the nooks and crannies of the state in line with the terms plus agenda of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. This is as the Commissioner restates the commitment of the Sanwo-Olu-led government to make Lagos a livable city for all residents. Addressing the press on Monday at the conference room of the ministry, Roberts, who is the immediate past special advisor to the Lagos State Governor on Local Government and Community Affairs, said he was ready to hit the ground running as directed by Sanwo-Olu. Mr. Governor had directed us to hit the ground running so to ensure that every part of the state is livable, especially as we concentrate efforts towards making Lagos a 21st century economy, he added. We've got a short break, and when we come back, we'll bring you more stories. Please stay tuned.
Cactv, igniting the apostolic fire.
Federal Safety Commission decries knockdown of patrol operatives and MONS officers. The Federal Road Safety Commissions on Monday mourned 2 officers who were killed while on active service. The FRSC also decried the incessant knockdown of its personnel by reckless motorists while on duty. A deceased staff member, Deputy Chief Road Marshal Assistant Abiodun Ajomole, was unlawful patrol duties at Igomu Bridge in Orile, Lagos State on September 16, 2023. Ajomole was attending to an offender who drove a Capstar, that's a Lagos taxi, when suddenly a Mack truck conveying a container lost control and hit the Capstar he was attending to. The impact of the crash on the Capstar forced the operative to hit his head on a stationary tanker parked by the roadside and died on the spot at exactly 14:16 hours. In the news also, the selection of the Alafin didn't follow due process according to the Oyomesi faction. A faction of the Oyo Kingmakers, Oyomesi, on Monday said Governor Seyi Makinde had not approved the nominee forwarded as the next Alafin of Oyo over failure to comply with due process. The Kingmakers comprised of High Chief Agbakin of Oyo, Asimiyu Atonda, High Chief Samu of Oyo, Alamidi Oyewale, and Baale Ajagba Odunrinde Olusegun, who addressed journalists in Oyo town, said the process that led to the selection of a particular nominee was fraught with irregularities. A faction of the traditional kingmakers in Oyo town, led by the Basharun of Oyo, High Chief Yusuf Akiade, said that they are waiting on the Oyo Governor Seyi Makinde for the inauguration of the new Alafin. The Basharun stated this in an exclusive interview with a correspondent, noting that the name of the nominated prince had been forwarded to Governor Seyi Makinde, who had yet to announce the kingmaker's choice. However, the faction led by the High Chief Ayola said it was wrong for Basharun to unilaterally co-opt warrant officers into the council without the consent of other lawmakers and the approval of the local government authority and the state governor. Now, in business, 5G subscriptions rise to 500,000 according to the NCC. The executive chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission, Professor Umar Dambata, has said Nigeria's fifth generation network subscription hit 500,000. He said broadband penetration also rose to 47.01% as of July 23. In a statement while speaking in Kano, he said the telecoms industry recorded remarkable milestones since 2015. In July, Dambata stated that 5G subscription had grown to over 60,000 subscriptions in the country. According to him, the country was aiming to achieve 50% broadband penetration by the end of 2023 and 70% broadband penetration by the end of 2025. In a statement, he said also from 8% contribution to the gross domestic product in 2015, telecommunications sector now contributes 16% quarterly to the Nigerian economy as of the second quarter of 2023. Also, in business news, no easy solution to Nigeria's economic problems. There is no quick and easy solution to Nigeria's economic challenges, the United States government has disclosed. The U.S. Deputy Secretary of Treasury, Wale Adeyemo, who stated this at a forum with business leaders in Lagos, said the country lacks a macroeconomic framework to attract more dollar-denominated foreign direct investments into its economy. He spoke at the Lagos Business School on the U.S.-Nigeria economic relationship. Forex, poor policies worsen abandoned cargo. There is no quick, but ultimately we know that please, I beg your pardon, we'll go on a short break And when we come back, we'll continue the business news. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying tuned with us. We continue with the business news. Government must look beyond taxes, levies for revenue, according to Amaishi. The chief economic advisor to the governor of Imo State, Professor Kenneth Amechi, speaks with Sami Olatunji on how government at federal and state levels can navigate the challenging environment to boost revenue and cater to the needs of the ordinary citizens in Imo State. He said Imo State is blessed with a lot of talent and human capital. As such, the state is among the top producers of graduates in the country. Unfortunately, many of these graduates are unemployed because Imo State is not able to absorb all the talent it produces. In addition, there are few reasonable sized businesses in the state, and sometimes the skill available do not match the needs of the market. These issues collectively exacerbate socio-economic tensions. So they argue that the unemployment is a very big challenge in the state and also in the country, which can easily breed other societal ills and vices. Now we go to sports. In sports, WAFCON 2024, Sao Tome and Principe withdraw from qualifier against Super Falcons. Nigeria's Super Falcons have cruised into the second round of the qualifier for the 2023 African Women's Cup of Nations, following the withdrawal of Sao Tome and Principe. The Super Eagles were scheduled to take on Sao Tome and Principe in the first round qualifying fixtures this weekend. Sao Tome and Principe Football Association have notified the Confederation of Africa on their decision to withdraw from qualifying race. The Super Falcons will now take on the winner of the tie between Cape Verde and Liberia in second round. The tie is scheduled to take place between November 27 and December 5, 2023. The winner will compete at WAFCON 2024, which will be hosted by Morocco. The Super Falcons finished in 4th position at the last edition of the competition, also hosted by Morocco. Nigerian stars set for the Titanic battles as the UEFA Champions League continues and begins this Tuesday. 4 Nigerian players will be in action for their respective European teams as they seek to make winning starts to their Champions League group campaigns today. According to report, the players are AC Milan winger Samuel Chukwueze, Dido Hassan Yusuf and Chidera Ejuke, who both star for Antwerp, and Zaidu Sanisi of FC Porto. Chukwueze is primed to make his 10th Champions League appearance when the Rossoneri take on Newcastle United at the San Siro in Group F. Stefano Piolo's side will aim to return to winning ways after their humiliating 5-1 derby defeat to arch rivals Inter Milan last Saturday. According to reports, Chukwueze has been tipped to replace Christian Pulisic, who was underwhelmingly in the derby defeat on the right flank. The report revealed while Fikayo, who missed the derby, is expected to return to the starting lineup. Now we go into the Champions League fixtures for today and tomorrow. Today, Tuesday 19th, we'll have the fixtures between AC Milan and Newcastle, Young Boys and RP Leipzig, Barcelona and Antwerp, Feyenoord and Celtic, Lazio and Atletico Madrid, Man City versus Zvezda, PSG will be taking on Borussia Dortmund, Shakhtar Donetsk will be taking on FC Porto. And tomorrow, Wednesday, 28th September, we have Galatasaray facing FC Copenhagen. Real Madrid will be taking on FC Union. Arsenal will be at home with PSV. Bayern Munich will be taking on Manchester United. Benfica will be taking on Salzburg. Braga against Napoli. Sociedad against Inter. And Sevilla against RC Lens. That ends the world news and bulletins this morning. Thank you for staying tuned with us. Please, you can feel free to drop your comments and contributions on all our social media handles. See Cactv on Facebook and on YouTube. I remain your host, Shegun White. Please enjoy the rest of the day.